I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be Patience and Inaction Ruined My Life. Well, I've got an email here from a guy who says he's been too patient over the course of his life, and he basically tended to dither and hesitate. And so now he kind of basically thinks that patience is absolutely useless and worthless. And he wants my opinion on some situations and things that he's been in where he's basically let other people walk all over themselves and he hasn't spoken up for himself. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we're going to go through his email. And the quote says, "Patience is a necessary and essential component to making your dreams a reality and getting what you want in life. However, being patient does not mean that you let people walk all over you, treat you harshly, or that it is justification for inaction. You should pay more attention to what people do and less attention to what they say, as their actions reveal their true intentions and interests. So whether it's a sales negotiation, a friendship, a romantic relationship, or making your dreams a reality, you must give other people the space and time to do what they say they are going to do and co-create with you. You can't force things or force people to do things they can't or won't do on their own. Therefore, when a person's actions do not match their words, you must let them come and go, or you must let them go and continue seeking and searching until you find someone else whose words and actions are congruent." It's so important. It's just like I think it was Dale Carnegie said. The older I get, the less I listen to what people say, and the more I pay attention to what they do. So this guy says, "Hey Corey, after watching your video newsletter titled Letting Go of the Past, I feel like I have something to share on what I learned from my past. Patience is evil," he says in big bold letters. Yep, patience ruined my life. I would say more than likely it was inaction and your failure to do anything or to take any action. You dither and you hesitate. Remember, another thing Dale Carnegie said, inaction breeds fear and doubt. Taking action breeds confidence and courage. Growing up, various circumstances forced me to test my patience, and I went over the limits to the point where I convinced myself to be the most patient guy in the world. Well, you still have to stand up for yourself. You don't allow people to walk all over you because you're trying to be Mr. Patient. Looking at the past, I can see I was obviously unhappy in life and stuff happening around me, but I didn't do anything because I taught myself to practice to the extreme end of patience." Well, the idea is to be balanced in your approach. It's you put something out there. If it comes to, say, inviting a woman out for a date, you extend that invitation and you see what she does with it. If she likes it, she'll pick up the invitation, she'll treasure it, she'll be like, "Oh my God, this is great, I'd love to go out with you." Sure. And if she's not, if she's like, I get 100 of these a week, and like throws it in the pile, doesn't give a fuck, delete the number. Say, "Well, I gotta run. It was great to chat with you. Give me a call if you change your mind." If it's a sales negotiation and they're saying, "No, that's the best we can do," just say, "All right, well, give me a call if you guys can figure out a way to make those numbers work. I gotta go take a look at some other cars and some other dealerships. But you got my number." And then you walk away. Because usually that afternoon or the next day, "Hey, I talked to my sales manager and we've been, crunching the numbers, trying to figure out what we could do, and want to see if you can come by and, take a look at what we came up with." That's typically what happens. Strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. Loving yourself means walking away from people who do not appreciate and value you. Because I know when I was younger, when I really wanted to hang out with a certain group of people or be friends with certain people, I would tolerate verbal abuse or put downs, being treated like an outsider. But now that I'm older and more experienced, when people act that way, I'm like, fuck you. Have a nice life. I don't waste my time with people like that because I'm fucking awesome. And you should look at yourself as being the same way. Because no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. And when you tolerate bullshit, you're inviting more bullshit in your life. He says, "I am and was a very optimistic kind of person. I managed to come up with something good in any of the worst situations in life. And this unhealthy optimism, I've never heard anybody think that optimism is somehow unhealthy. But It's like what the Buddha said, faith without action is meaningless. And that's a big part of your problem, I can already tell. You had faith that things were going to work out, but you really didn't do anything to make it happen. And you tolerated people mistreating you and not appreciating you. And then nothing changes in your life. It's like, what do you expect? It's like people that watch that DVD that came out, I guess it was 10 years ago, The Secret. People think, you just can zen out and a BMW will show up in your driveway. Well, action is a huge critical part of that. There's another old Chinese proverb that says, if you zen out, they will come and take your furniture. He says, this unhealthy optimism encouraged me to stay patient and resulted in building false hopes in my mind and blinding myself from reality. Just like Ayn Rand said, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. All these quotes I'm just throwing out at you today. I would let people talk behind my back and act as if I never even heard it because I had patience and I used to forgive them. I would let people take advantage of me and never asked or expected anything in return. You got to speak up for yourself, dude. You don't get what you deserve in life, you only get what you negotiate. And if you're not negotiating and you're not even opening that big hole in your face, well, the only person you really can blame is the person you see in the mirror every day. You've got to participate in your own rescue. However, when I needed someone, there was none. I let my ex-girlfriend, walk all over me and hurt me, even though life presented me with multiple opportunities to move on from her and start a new relationship. Well, it sounds like you enjoyed the abuse. Remember, no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. And the fact that you put up with it and you never spoke up for yourself, well, you're just basically enabling her behavior. You said, please, thank you, may I have another. I didn't do it because I didn't want to hurt her feelings, so it was okay to hurt your own instead. Sounds like a smart way to go about it. I stayed patient and gave away my power and my chance to be to a happy life. What I learned is patience is not a good quality to be proud of. That's bullshit. I learned it the hard way. It's not that patience is the problem, it's your inaction is the problem. You didn't do anything to help yourself, so what could you expect? How could anything possibly change in your life if you don't speak up for yourself and you don't do anything? Like when I do phone sessions with people, it's like what I see. People go to a self-help seminar. Say there's 1,000 people in the room. Barely 1% are even really going to apply anything that they learn in that seminar, even though they may have paid thousands of dollars to be there. You think about that for a second. People spend thousands of fucking dollars to go to a seminar, and less than 1% actually use anything or apply anything consistently long-term that they learned in there. It's like Tony Robbins, his personal power CDs that were real big in the late 80s, early 90s when he was doing all his infomercials. The interesting thing he had a research firm research it. And it's like 50% of the people that bought those CDs, I mean, it was like $200-300 for the things. Half of them never even took the fucking shrink wrap off. $200-300 and they don't even take the shrink wrap off? And out of the 100, about 10 of them listened to one CD. And then out of that, 1 to maybe 3 people out of the 100 listened to the whole thing and actually applied it and got some results in their life. And people wonder, it's like, why 1 to 3% of the world's elite, if you will, have all the money, have all the success, have all the things that all the rest of us say we want, because most people aren't willing to do anything. And why don't people have what they want in their lives? It's because of the story that they tell themselves about why they don't have it. And so you told yourself, well, you should just be patient, but you didn't take any action. You didn't speak up for yourself, probably because you were afraid of losing that person or them not liking or accepting you. But at the end of the day, it's not like they made you feel like you were wanted or appreciated in the first place. He says, I remember that once when I was asked about my best quality, I said my patience. However, being patient means not taking action, giving away the power, and waiting for stuff to happen. Few of the worst ingredients to an unhappy life. Well, that's the key. Patience isn't bad. It's just not taking any action. That is your problem. But like when it comes to women, if you're impatient, if you take too much action and you blow her phone up and you harass her, you'll get a restraining order or you'll get blocked. That's a bad way to go. Extend the invitation and let it go and see what other people do with it. The right people will reciprocate. They'll make the mutual effort. And if they don't, the majority of the people aren't. That's just the way it is. He says, in this fast-moving world, I think patience has no role. I'd say people that don't understand and value and understand how to use patience, that's the problem. I think the word patience itself has no right to exist. What do you think about this value of patience in life? Well, quite frankly, practicing infinite patience is essential. It's like you go out on a date. You think you had a great date, call the girl or you text her a few days later, and you don't hear from her right away. What would impatience cause you to do? And taking too much action. Oh, hey, did you get my text? Hey, did you get my message? You're going to blow it if you do that. But if you extend the invitation and you have the attitude, because you took action, you extend the invitation, you invited her out, and she hasn't responded, it's like a game of tennis. You got to hit the ball over that and wait for the other person to participate and co-create. And if they don't take it personally. Just move on and do the same thing with somebody else. And you got to keep circulating, because circulation is the key to the universe. You stop circulating, if your heart stops pumping, you're going to die. I mean, what happens if the Earth stops rotating around the sun? That would probably be a really bad day. That's definitely something to think about. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.